Hey everybody, how are you? Mario here. I am an empowered empath, and I'm here today to share with you in this oncoming video series tips, tricks, and things that I've learned through a 20-year journey working with energy healers, working with multiple teachers on how to become an empowered empath. Think about Spider-Man. When Spider-Man was first bit by the radioactive spider, Spider-Man discovered all these senses and all these different capabilities that he had, but he was freaked out about them and he hated them, and it was causing all kinds of grief in his life. Until Spider-Man accepted that this could actually be a gift, and then at that point it turned into a superpower. And isn't it interesting that Spider-Man actually had something called spidey senses, which is something that a lot of empaths have, right? A lot of empaths have that ability to just know and pick things up before things actually happen, or they actually know how to read a person before the person's actually even spoken a word. So in a lot of sense, we are superheroes, but many of us suffer, like I used to suffer, going to parties, going to sporting events, going to the shopping mall, and certain relationships. I used to suffer greatly. I used to be absolutely exhausted, but I was able to change all that and become the empowered empath. And that's why I'm here on this video, in this video series called Empathik, with a K, Empathik, which is to empower all of you and your loved ones on this journey of being an empath. So one of the things that I encounter a lot of times when I'm coaching empaths is that they have this habit, if you will, of focusing on the negative. Okay, and that's something that's inside your brain, which is called the reticular activating system. It's like the size of your pinky, and it regulates many things in the body, including sleep and hair growth and other things. However, what I want to talk about today is its relationship to empaths. Now, the reticular activating system kind of works like a doorman at a nightclub. This door person was actually programmed to think in a certain way to bring in or allow into the nightclub certain people that may have fit a certain, I don't know, a look, a financial income. This door person selected and scanned what and who was important enough to let into the club. And letting into the club, let's say the club is like your subconscious mind, your subconscious memory. Why is it? Because the hardware of your brain, the reticular activating system, works with the software of your essence, or which really controls a lot of your thoughts and actions, which is your subconscious memory. And you've likely heard a lot about the subconscious memory, and we're going to get into it in this series. But what I wanted to do is explain the relationship between the reticular activating system and your subconscious memory. Because whatever beliefs your subconscious memory holds inside of it, it actually now programs the reticular activating system to scan and sort through all sensory information that's coming to it and accept into the subconscious, into your consciousness, or into your attention, that which is programmed by your subconscious memory. I'm sure a lot of you people have experienced this, that once you buy a particular car, the next thing you see on the road is like a million of these cars which you just bought. And it's like, what a coincidence that is. Now, why is that? Well, your reticular activating system scans all of the sensory information which is coming through. So think about this. You go to a wedding, and let's say you go to a wedding of 300 people, and you're sitting at the table, and you're having a good time, and you're having a conversation, and you can hear there's music in the background, there's people laughing in the background, there's people dancing, there's the clinging of forks and spoons hitting the plate. All of this action is going on. But let's say your name is Jessica, and all of a sudden, from across across the room, someone says, "Jessica!" You automatically are going to pay attention to that because your reticular activating system picked up on the fact that somebody said Jessica, and it has been programmed to know that whenever someone says Jessica, it's a very good chance that they're talking to you, they're looking for you, they want you, they're wanting to get your attention. So it sorts out all of that other clutter to say, and it makes the fact that somebody said Jessica the most important thing and brings it to your attention. Okay? Now, why all this story about the reticular activating system? Well, a lot of empaths that are people that typically suffer from depression issues, scarcity issues, issues with sleeping, digestion, all kinds of different physiological problems and emotional problems. And what I want to tell you is this, is that as we know, we become a product of our environment. But many of us might not realize that we are or have been operating on an operating system which isn't genuinely what we are or who we are. You see, as empaths, we absorb thought forms, we absorb emotions, we absorb energies and frequencies, right? Once that goes into the subconscious mind, and once that's done repetitively enough or powerfully enough, that starts to manifest within the subconscious mind. See, there are little seeds that are planted, and every time that these energies, these emotions, these frequencies come in, they create a repetition, which through repetition can actually get through and penetrate that reticular activating system. But many people might not realize that if we're even today in certain relationships or as an empath taking in all of this energy from either individuals or collective energy, what's happening is we know with feeling, emotion, with repetition, we can actually program our subconscious memory. So what happens if so many people around us, or even just one individual perhaps sitting next to us at our job, is going through a traumatic experience? That consistent repetition of emotions, of feelings, of frequency, of energies coming to us can actually program our subconscious memory to take on that same trauma and those same beliefs and emotions that that individual is going through. So what happens then is your reticular activating system now becomes programmed. But here's the thing, that might not even be your essence. You could be running on a program that's actually working like a virus and working against who you are, who your authentic self is. You know, interesting thing is I used to work in a corporate company and I worked in an office and had an assistant. My assistant, incredible individual, beautiful, lovely, so bubbly, but was going through a lot of emotional issues. All right. I was being bombarded with all of this worry, fear, anxiety, loss, self-deprecation, all of these powerful feelings, thoughts, and energies and frequencies. So when I get into work in the morning, I'd be fully pumped up. I'd go to the gym in the morning and I'd be ready to take on the day. By the time I'd leave the office at night, I was absolutely exhausted. And the funny thing is, I started to develop pains in my right arm and in my wrist. And the interesting thing is that my assistant actually suffered from very bad carpal tunnel and actually had to have an operation on her wrist for carpal tunnel. So isn't it interesting that all of a sudden I started to manifest a lot of what this individual was actually feeling on a physical and emotional basis? It started to happen to me. Until one day I was in a very, very, very deep prayer meditation, and all of a sudden, bam, something came to me. What I want to give to you now is 5 tips to take away to now program, protect, and keep your reticular activating system healthy, okay? Because yes, it responds to what's within your subconscious memory. However, it's also the gatekeeper and the gateway to your subconscious memory. So that if you're not being very attentive and careful what you're allowing in, or what you continuously and repetitively put in front of you, you could be opening the gateway to all of these other energies and frequencies and beliefs from other people, and through that repetition come in to penetrate through that reticular activating system into your subconscious memory, and you could be programmed on a negative basis according to what other people's life experiences are, instead of your own true, authentic, fantastic operating system, which is already within you. So what are 5 things that you can do to protect your reticular activating system and to keep it in health? Now, we've always heard that affirmations are very, very helpful. Now, why is that? Because typically with affirmations, we do them on a repetitive basis, and we are reciting words which our brain picks up on and starts to actually accept over a certain amount of time. So what I do is I actually have a set of affirmations that I do on a continual basis for 21 days at a time, because we know that typically 21 days you can start a habit. I actually use that same principle to form a new belief. And what I do is I actually write these affirmations down, or these statements that I want to program into here. I actually write them down with the color purple or the color violet. Now, why would I use purple? Why would I use violet? Well, think about, if you've ever seen the chakra system and the color spectrum on the chakra system, you'll see the crown chakra, which is the chakra which is closest to you, and we'll say that spirit energy that comes into you. It's actually the color violet as well. It's been known that the color violet or the color purple is the highest frequency of the color spectrum. So if I want something to be effective and penetrate into my reticular activating system and get into my subconscious mind, I'm going to use the color violet, because whenever my eyes are seeing violet, the reticular activating system is seeing violet, it has a more efficient and effective ability to get quicker results in terms of the programming. This is what I found in my experience and people that I've worked with, in terms of the programming into the reticular activating system, into the subconscious memory. What I also do is I say everything 3 times. I write it down once, but I say everything 3 times. Why do I say things 3 times? I say it for my mind, for my body, and for my spirit. So that's the first thing that you can do for your reticular activating system. The second part, or the second one, is something that is so important to me, and this goes back to the download that I got when I was driving home that day from work, and I was feeling sorry for myself. Why do I gotta go through this? All of a sudden it came down to me. You need to shield and filter your reticular activating system. And I saw this beautiful ball of white energy, which acted like almost like an aura or a shield, specifically for my reticular activating system. And what I learned to do over time is that I actually charge it with a bright white heavenly light. So it goes something like this. Call into manifest. I am asking you, we'll say spirit, to create a bright white heavenly light filter shield of energy protection for my reticular activating system. And say it 3 times. Remember, 3 times has that strong spiritual ability to manifest. And let it filter out all thoughts, emotions, and beliefs which are not of the light and are not in alignment for my highest benefit. Then what you can do is you can close your eyes. Hopefully you're not driving when you do this. And imagine a buffering on a screen, or something like you're downloading something, and you'll see like that clock, okay? And you'll see it going, and as it goes around, it's getting almost done, almost complete. Once it does a full circle, and once you can see that full circle with your mind's eye or in your imagination, bam, the shield has been completed. Okay? So why do I use bright white heavenly light? Well, think about density. Think about anger, darkness. They all have different colors, right? Red, charcoal gray, black. They're very powerful colors and very dense and very low. So what happens is that white heavenly light that's around you actually creates a filter. And what it does is it keeps out that very, very low density of emotions and feelings that could be coming, or beliefs that could be coming from other people, that typically tends to be absorbed by us empaths. Now what you're doing is you're actually protecting your reticular activating system from accepting those in. And in combination with the daily affirmations that you're doing, you're actually training your reticular activating system of what you want to bring into it. Let's go to number 3 now. I don't know if any of you have heard of emotional freedom technique and the tapping. It's something that's actually very, very helpful to reduce the anxiety and stress and deprogram individuals who are going through or who are challenged with sadness, depression, anxiety, or whatever the case may be. So that tapping, and if you haven't heard about it, it kind of goes something like this. Like, if I needed to forgive myself for making very bad mistakes, is I am totally and unconditionally loving myself. I am accepting myself and forgiving myself for any mistakes, because I realize that I am a human. I'm a spirit having a human experience, and I'm here to learn. and I will learn from this experience and I will grow from it. I'm protecting my reticular activating system from all negativity, from all fear, all worry, all scarcity, from anything which is not of the heavenly light, from anything which is not in my highest benefit. All right, that's number 3. Number 4 and 5 can actually come together, and if you've been living on another planet, you've never heard of the law of attraction. Now, if we break down the law of attraction, number 4 is visualization, and number 5 is feeling the emotion. You can combine the two together. And we know that creating that vision and backing it up with emotion actually makes our brain have an experience as if it's really happening. Okay? So if we can focus on the positive things which we want to fill our subconscious memory with, or train our reticular activating system to accept, what you can do is you can use visualization and emotion on a repetitive basis to actually manually program yourself. So again, like we talked about at the beginning of the video, when we're empaths and we're going out there in the world and we are vulnerable to all these things around us, visualization and emotion could actually be coming from the sources around us and programming us on a negative way. Like I was being programmed at my old company where I was working, where my system was going through trauma. I started to manifest that, right? So what you want to do is actually spend 5 minutes on visualizing and bringing up the emotion as if what it is that you want to manifest or how you want to live, as long as it's not hurting other people and it's benefiting you for your growth, you can use that for yourself to train your reticular activating system as well. So those are the 5 things that we can do to train our reticular activating system. I hope that I brought you greater knowledge about yourself, and I hope I gave you something to chew on for your empowerment. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments. I'm looking forward to the next video in this long series which is be coming out, which is here to impact you on a positive level to help you become the empowered empath and help you fly. Thanks everybody. Love you. Till next time.